Every time you explain yourself when nobody asked, you are handing someone a map to manage you. You talked too much. You filled the silence because silence felt dangerous. You explained yourself when no explanation was asked for. You handed the other person everything they needed to read you, manage you, and stay 3 steps ahead of you. Most men do this every single day and never connect it to why they keep losing ground in rooms they should own. The most powerful men in history, the ones Machiavelli studied, the ones the Stoics trained, understood something that takes most men decades to learn. Silence is not the absence of power. Silence is the power. Men talk too much for one reason above all others. They are trying to control how they are perceived. Every unnecessary explanation, every overshared detail, every joke that lands wrong because it didn't need to be said, it all comes from the same place. The need to manage what the room thinks of them. And here is the trap. The more a man talks to control his image, the more he reveals. Every word is data. Every qualification is a window into his insecurity. Every apology that wasn't earned is an invitation to be taken less seriously. Machiavelli observed that men who speak too freely hand their opponents the map. They show where they are uncertain. They reveal what they want. They expose what they fear losing. The man who talks to fill silence is not in control of the room. He is auditioning for it, and the room knows the difference. Silence does something most men do not expect the first time they use it deliberately. It makes other people uncomfortable enough to fill it themselves. And when they fill it, they reveal everything. Their position, their anxiety, what they actually want from the exchange. The man who stays quiet longest in a negotiation, a confrontation, a difficult conversation, that man is gathering intelligence while the other person burns through theirs. Machiavelli called this one of the most underrated forms of strategic advantage. Not deception, not manipulation, simple restraint. The discipline to let the other person show their hand before you show yours. The Stoics practiced it differently, but arrived at the same place. Epictetus wrote that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, not as a pleasantry, as a strategy. The man who listens more than he speaks always knows more than the man who doesn't. There are 4 specific silences a powerful man learns to use. The first is the pause before he responds. Not hesitation, deliberate space. He does not react to what was just said. He considers it. That single pause signals composure and forces the other person to wonder what he is thinking. The second is the silence after a question he does not want to answer. Most men feel compelled to fill every question with a response. The powerful man does not. He decides what deserves an answer and what does not. That decision belongs entirely to him. The third is the silence when he is being provoked. Someone pushes, someone baits, someone says something designed to make him react. He says nothing. That silence is not weakness. It is the most controlled response available, and it costs the other person everything they were counting on. The fourth is the silence of accomplishment. He does not announce what he is building. He does not post the process. He does not seek validation before the work is done. He moves in silence and lets the results speak when they are ready. Machiavelli wrote that the first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. But he also wrote something less quoted, that the wise man says nothing he does not intend, and intends nothing he is not prepared to act on. That is not about being cold or calculating in the way people misread Machiavelli. It is about integrity of action. Every word a man speaks is either building something or giving something away. The powerful man becomes ruthlessly aware of which one he is doing in every exchange. He does not overpromise. He does not over-explain. He does not justify his decisions to people who have no stake in them. He says what he means what he says, and lets his actions confirm the rest. That economy of language, that precision, is one of the clearest signals of a man who is operating from a position of genuine strength. If you have spent years talking yourself out of the respect you deserved, subscribe. Every episode we go one level deeper. You need to be here for what comes next. There is something that happens to a man as he gets older, if he is paying attention. He starts to care less about what people think of him, not because he becomes indifferent or bitter, because he finally has enough data to know that most opinions about him were never really about him at all. They were about the person holding them. That shift, that quiet release of the need for approval, is one of the most powerful things age can give a man if he lets it. The Stoics called it the discipline of indifference to external judgment. Marcus Aurelius practiced it daily. He wrote that it was impossible to please everyone and that trying to do so was the fastest way to lose yourself entirely. The man who no longer needs the room to validate him does not fill silence to manage their impression of him. He speaks when he has something worth saying. He stays quiet when he doesn't. And the room, whether it knows it or not, adjusts to him. Most men were taught that silence is uncomfortable, something to escape as quickly as possible, that the man who fills the room with words is the one in control of it. That is exactly backwards. The man who fills every silence is the one giving away control of the conversation, of the impression he makes, of the information he holds. He is spending his strongest currency on the cheapest possible return. The man who is comfortable in silence, who does not need to explain, justify, perform, or fill. That man has something the room cannot read, and what the room cannot read, it cannot manage. Machiavelli understood that the unknowable man holds a structural advantage in almost every human exchange. Not because he is hiding something, because he has decided that not everything needs to be shared. That restraint, that discipline, is the silence advantage. And it is available to any man willing to practice it. You already know what it costs to talk too much. The times you explained yourself to someone who was never going to respect the explanation. The times you filled the silence because you could not stand what the silence might mean. The times you handed someone the exact information they needed to stay ahead of you in a room you should have owned. And what you are building now is the opposite of all of that. A discipline so simple it sounds almost too easy until you try it in a room that makes you want to talk, a meeting that makes you want to justify, a confrontation that makes you want to react. And in that moment, you say less than you think you should. You pause longer than feels comfortable. You let the other person fill the space you just created, and you watch what they give you, because the man who masters silence does not just win conversations. He stops losing ground in rooms he was always supposed to own. He stops handing people the tools they use to manage him. He stops performing for an audience that was never going to applaud anyway, and he starts moving through the world with the quiet authority of a man who has nothing to prove and everything already decided. That man is harder to read, harder to use, and harder to stop, and that is exactly who you came here to become. You already know what you are. Finally, ruthless.